The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning to you here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Chris Burton, and we begin in your 17 Crime Watch this morning. An intense odor coming from an East Bakersfield home led to the discovery of dozens of dead or neglected animals. And it wasn't just one home the discovery was made in. 17's Christian Galeno has more on the horrific discovery and the woman now under arrest.
Squalor, garbage, and a lingering foul odor is all that is left at the East Bakersfield home where 22-year-old Annie Scriber allegedly operated an unlicensed private animal boarding and training business. That's according to Bakersfield police.
Animals in the backyard and inside the house barking all the time.
That was a common sight for Lisa Lopez, who lives right next door.
I would see her come up, and I knew something was wrong, but I just couldn't pinpoint it.
Lopez believes Scriber had been renting the home next door for only about 6 months.
About 2 months ago, that's when it really got concerning because the smell was just overwhelming and we couldn't figure out, what was going on.
Lopez had a clue, but wasn't sure.
The neighbors here had owned a lot of animals, and we thought maybe one had died or something, and so they put in the trash can or something, but the smell was, intense.
One phone call later, and a grisly discovery was made. Police and animal control officers found 29 dogs suffering from neglect, 3 cats, and 11 dead dogs all across 3 residences linked to Scriber. Police said the first home where 10 dogs were found is in the 100 block of Bernard Street. A second home is in the 9,000 block of Centennial Court, where neighbors say Scriber lived with her grandfather. The third home is in the 15,000 block of Oakencroft Drive, where neighbors say an uncle of Scriber possibly rented that home to her.
And, she's just going to have to answer for what she did now.
For 17 News, I'm Christian Galeno.
Investigators say the surviving animals are now receiving proper care. Scriber declined a request for a jailhouse interview. She's due in court later today.
And also in your Crime Watch this morning, a California Highway Patrol officer is being praised after finding a large amount of drugs during a routine traffic stop. It started last Tuesday when officers pulled over a driver for a vehicle code violation on Highway 99 near 7th Standard Road. The CHP says after seeing, quote, indicators of criminal activity, the officer deployed his canine, which alerted to the smell of narcotics. And during a search of the vehicle, the officer reportedly found several cardboard boxes holding 500 pounds of crystal methamphetamine. 2 people in the car were arrested for possessing a controlled substance for sale and selling or transporting meth. The drug bust was one of the largest seizures ever by a CHP canine team.
The Kern County Sheriff's Office is looking into the discovery of 2 bodies in a vehicle in Mojave. Deputies were called to the area of Proctor Boulevard and 150th Street just after 2 p.m. Sunday. And there they found a man's body in the driver's seat of a car and a dead woman leaning against the rear tire. KCSO says they don't suspect foul play, so homicide detectives were not called to the scene. The identities and cause of deaths will be released by the coroner's office at a later time.
And now to Taft, where a neighborhood was held hostage by a gas leak yesterday afternoon near Lawson Avenue and McClintock Street, where 8 homes were evacuated. The Kern County Fire Department says a contractor was working on the roadway when the worker struck a 4-inch gas line. Resident Mason Stepp tells 17 News the construction has been going on for about 2 weeks, with crews working on installing a 5G network.
They've broken sewer pipes. They've been painting on property, grass, or cement on our property, and they've been doing just a lot more damage than it seems they've been doing good.
Stepp says he was told the gas would be restored late yesterday evening, but there's no update as of this morning.
Your time now is 5:06. Cornerstone Bakery holding a fundraiser in memory of a KCSO canine that died in the line of duty last week. The bakery says it will offer commemorative cookies starting today, with 100% of the proceeds going to the canine handler's family. Thursday morning, deputies were called to Panama Road near Hebecker Road near Lamont for reports of a shooting. The SO says that the deputy, Robert Fisher, and his canine partner, Hannes, spent 10 to 15 minutes searching a vineyard for the shooter. Other deputies ultimately caught the suspect, but first responders say Hannes started showing signs of distress. The dog was rushed to a local emergency animal hospital where he later died.
In sports news this morning, legendary Cardinals first baseman Albert Pujols is inching closer to the ultra-rare feat of hitting 700 home runs. Now, he knocked in number 693 in the top of the 7th last night in Wrigley Field against Cubs, as you can see here, giving the Cardinals a 1-0 lead that they would hold until the end. Pujols is in the midst of arguably his best 10-game stretch of his career. At the age of 42, he's posted an OPS, that's an on-base average plus slugging, of over 1,800, hitting 7 home runs and batting a ridiculous .548. There have only been 3 other players to hit 700 home runs in their career: Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, and the controversial king, Barry Bonds. Pujols has reiterated that he will still retire at the end of the season. That'll give him 6 weeks left to reach some of those numbers.
So now to news about our drought. Turns out Truxtun Lake isn't the only local lake to become a casualty of the drought. The Park and River Walk is also seeing its water dry up. Yesterday, we told you about the issues at Truxtun Lake, water receding and fish dying. The same's happening at the small lake at the park off Stockdale Highway. Concerned residents say that something needs to be done to save the wildlife that call those areas home.
You can't just establish this and get all the wildlife going and then pull the plug. They don't know what to do. This is their home. It's not right.
Most of them will die. The bird life, those that are lucky enough to fly away, they'll find a place, but most of them will die.
Bakersfield city officials confirm no water is planned to go to these lakes. As for the cleanup, the city's not responded to when the dead animals will be cleared from the areas.
Making news around the state this morning, the case of the missing Placer County teenager is starting to get some answers. Authorities said yesterday human remains found in a submerged car are believed to be that of 16-year-old Kylie Rodney. This news came a day after a volunteer dive team discovered Rodney's car overturned in Prosser Creek Reservoir near the campground where she went missing after a party 2 weeks ago. The sheriff on the investigation says the body isn't identified as Rodney yet, and they want to make sure her family has all the latest information before releasing it to the public.
It's still an active investigation, and I understand there will be, and we will continue to receive lots of questions regarding our investigation, and we will release what we can. But at this time, our commitment is to this family.
Rodney's family released a statement yesterday saying in part, quote, "While we accept this sadness cast under death's shadow, the rising sun shines light upon us, reminding us not to mourn our loss, but to celebrate Kylie's spirit and the gift that we all received in knowing her. Kylie will surely remain with us, even though we will not get her back."
Your time now is 5:34. A proposal to seal the criminal records of many ex-felons in California has cleared a major hurdle in the state legislature and now is just one signature away from becoming law. Known as SB 731, the legislation would seal conviction and arrest records for ex-felons as long as they've not been convicted of another felony in 4 years since completing their sentence. Democratic State Senator Maria Elena Durazo of LA authored the legislation, arguing that the completion of a prison sentence should pave the way for a complete return to participate fully in society. She stresses the proposal would not include people who were convicted of violent felonies and those who have registered as a sex offender, but the bill does face opposition.
Just wait it out. You can do what you want, commit the crimes, do the time, and then eventually, in a short period of time, it's just automatically going to fall off and your record is clean. And several Democrats agreed also that this just goes too far and also voted no on the bill.
The governor still has a little over a week to decide whether he'll sign this bill into law or veto it.
Meantime, Governor Newsom has vetoed a bill allowing California cities to set up sites where opioid users could legally inject drugs under supervision. Senate Bill 57 would have allowed safe consumption drug sites to open in San Francisco, Oakland, and Los Angeles. Similar sites are already up and running in parts of the East Coast, including New York and Rhode Island. Governor Newsom said the bill could have brought, quote, "a world of unintended consequences." And Newsom's veto comes amid a nationwide spike in overdose deaths.
Here at home, big changes are coming to a popular hangout for families in Kern County. Kern was just awarded a $2.7 million grant to make improvements to the Buena Vista Aquatic Recreational Area. The county's Parks and Recreation Department says the money will be used to add a splash pad to the area, along with a picnic pavilion, a fenced-in dog park, multi-use trails, 4 floating docks, and much more. There will also be upgrades to the existing playground, basketball court, horseshoe pit, and sand volleyball courts. The money comes from Proposition 68, and Kern is one of 25 communities in California to get a cut of the $46 million in funds.
Making news around the nation this morning, 3 Arkansas law enforcement officers have been suspended, and state police have launched an investigation into their use of force. This happened after a video went viral showing a violent arrest in the small town of Mulberry. The video shows one officer punching the suspect, 27-year-old Randall Worcester of South Carolina, at one point slamming his head into the ground. Another officer can be seen striking Worcester with his knee, and a third was holding him down during the beating.
They will be punished for what they did if they are found to be in violation of any rights, laws, or anything like that.
Once the state police investigation is done, the case will be sent to the local county prosecutor to decide if the officer's use of force was legal.
Former President Trump and his lawyers are filing a court motion to have a special master appointed to review seized materials from the FBI search of Trump's Florida home. It could be that an attorney or a retired judge not connected to the case. Trump's request must be approved by the court. This as a federal judge issued a new ruling signaling he won't likely release the search affidavit in its entirety. The judge argued yesterday the unsealing could hurt the investigation. The Justice Department has until Thursday to offer proposed changes to the documents.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.